What's up, guys? Chris Obama here with my home group, bringing you another video. Finally, I know it's been a couple weeks since my last video dropped. For those of you who follow my Facebook business page or my YouTube channel, you know that it's been about a month since my last real estate related video, and it's time to get back at it. I apologize. I continue to slack off on making these and getting this information out to you guys, but unfortunately, you know how it goes. Life just kind of gets in the way at times with 3 kids and a household and a business to run. And unfortunately, I'm not shooting these videos as frequently as I wish I would. Something I have to work on and get better at. But here we are. We're getting back at it, bringing you guys more information regarding the real estate market and providing you guys some information about how you as a buyer can actually afford more home today than you could have 2 to 3 years ago. And I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, how the heck can I afford more home today than I could 2 to 3 years ago when values have skyrocketed? $300,000 home is now worth $450,000. A $200,000 home is now worth $350,000, and so on. So how is it that today I can get more home than I could 2 to 3 years ago? And the answer is very simple. Interest rates and where those percentages are at today compared to 2 to 3 years ago. And it's real simple. We're going to just simply compare today's market and interest rates to 2 to 3 years ago where the interest rates were at. Just like I did in my last video where we compared the 06, 07 market to today's market and how we're seeing a completely different trend in regards to values and why prices were increasing. Like we talked about in that video, 06, 07 was due to poor lending practices and people being able to buy more home than they could actually afford. Whereas today, we're seeing this due to supply and demand. There's not enough supply for the amount of demand for people coming into the state. That's what's driving prices up. So with that said, let's dive into a topic I don't think is being talked about enough for you as a buyer and as a consumer, and that is how you can actually afford more home today than you could 2 to 3 years ago. And it's real simple. If you look back 2 to 3 years ago, you'll see that interest rates were kind of averaging around 6 to 6.5% on most FHA products. There were products back then that you could still get a 4.5%, 5%, maybe even a sub 4%, but for the most part, everything was 4 to 6.5%. But on most FHA loans, I was seeing that it was about 6.5%. Today, when I checked values and I checked information, I'm seeing lowest I saw in today's market was 2.75%. But on average, I'm seeing 2.99, and then some that are just north of 3, like 3.175. But the average I was seeing was 2.99. So what we're going to do is we're going to take today's average of 2.99 and the average 2 to 3 years ago of 6% and compare what you could afford to keep the price around the same monthly. Now, little disclaimer, I'm only doing principal and interest. I'm not calculating taxes. I'm not calculating HOA. I'm not calculating insurance into that. Just principal and interest only, what that payment would look like. So 2 to 3 years ago, you buy yourself a $300,000 house and you put 3.5% down on that home. At 6% interest, your payment comes out to around $1,753 a month, principal and interest only. Now, in today's market, to keep your payment around that $1,753 number, you have to get into a home around $425,000. That's $125,000 more in today's market at a 2.99% interest rate that allows you to have a payment around $1,724. So not only are you able to afford more, but you're also having your payment go down by about $30 a month. And this is something I feel like is not being talked about. Yes, prices have gone up. Houses are worth more than what they were a couple years ago, but your buying power has actually gone up because interest rates are so much lower than they were a couple years ago, which means if you couldn't get into the market 2 to 3 years ago where prices were at and you're thinking that that applies to you today, that's probably not the truth. You probably can get in today's market because of where interest rates are at, which allows you to have more buying power to afford homes in this market, keeps your payment where you need it to be, where you can afford it, and where your debt to income ratio keeps that magic 45 to 50%. Anyways, that's just something I dove into today, kind of some research and information I looked into. Wanted to get it to you guys because I want you buyers to be aware that just because prices have gone up doesn't mean that you cannot buy in this market. You can. We just have to have that conversation. We have to look into things and figure out where your payment is and what you can afford. But I can tell you, as odd as it sounds, even though prices have gone up, because interest rates are still low, you can actually get into this market and afford something you didn't think you could. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope I got information to you guys you found valuable. Give me a call, shoot me a text if you have more questions, 623-693-5667. You can email me at chrisbrealty@gmail.com or just comment here on the video, here on Facebook or on YouTube, wherever you're seeing this video. Appreciate your guys' time. Thanks for being here. You guys have a good rest of the week, and we'll talk to you again soon.